defense counterintelligence side. And it is not offensive, because when you start employing intrusive tools is when now you are embarking on the offensive side of counterintelligence, whereas vetting is in the defensive side.
Why didn't the minister take you along to, that's normally a practice as a special advisor to the new department, public service?
Thank you, member. From the beginning, when the minister made this proposal to me that she wants me to be her special advisor, it was our agreement that I am coming on board to assist her in as far as core business at the SSA is concerned.
Did you?
Meaning that my being there, it's not because of her, but it's because of what I can bring to her. So when she goes to the public service, it is not aligned to where I wish to be. So that is why I didn't go in.
So there was this moment in which the minister did not oppose the rogue unit report from being set aside by a court. Do you recall that moment?
It will need me to really go back, because you see, I was advising the minister mostly when it comes to issues of core business. We had people who were legal advisors, especially from the SSA, that was working with the minister on these issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
My final question. Is it legal in our entire legal framework, particularly constitutionally, for organs of the state to establish intelligence units, whether these intelligence units are doing covert or non-covert activities, whether they are using intrusive methods or not, to have intelligence units without the permission of the president? Is it legal? 1. 2, what kind of security threats would actually arise out of organs of state having security or intelligence units within themselves? Department of Education, Mayor of Polokwane, Mayor of Mkandule, and so on and so forth. What kind of security threats do you think that would pose to the country?
Member, the National Strategic Intelligence Act talks about establishment of departmental intelligence. I think at this point in time, I remember that, we're busy trying to get to an understanding exactly what it is that the National Strategic Intelligence Act says about establishment of departmental. It is in the Act, but your question is saying, is it legal to do that without the involvement or the okaying by the president? So I do believe that it can never be correct. It can never be correct to do that. I think the Act actually for now gives intelligence to the defense intelligence, to the civilian intelligence, and also to crime intelligence. But also it talks about that departmental intelligence. The departmental intelligence can never be established by a commissioner, for instance, or by the Director General on their own without talking to the SSA and also at the end the President actually approving on that. Otherwise, we will be a rogue state.
Can I read you Section 209 of the Constitution, subsection 1? Any intelligence service, and I repeat, any, other than any intelligence division of the Defense Force or Police Service may be established only by the president
True.
as head of the national executive and only in terms of legislation. So it's not true, no, that the SSA can establish intelligence units outside of its immediate legislative scope.
If you heard me correct, honorable member, I did say in consultation with SSA, because SSA will only be assisting in terms of how this thing is supposed to work, but at the end, the president is the one, I use the word okaying. It's the president who is going to approve that, because the president is, the president has no, as the Constitution says, it's the president who does that, but the expertise lies with the SSA, for instance, in this case. So that is why the SSA will be assisting in terms of the modalities, but at the end, the president is the one who approves. So it means the president has established.
My final question, you've been working with Minister Ayanda Ndlondlo, who failed, in my view. You want to convince me I'm one of the panel members. She failed with distinction.
Take your time.
Sorry? No, Chairperson, I'm indebted to you on this one. Should I
1
proceed?
minute, okay.
Okay, thank you. You worked with Minister Ayanda Ndlondlo from when she was appointed to when she was, I think, dismissed from this position or exchanged. I think she failed with distinction, and I think the riots are a case in point. Why should we put you as the IGI? Don't you think that we will be exacerbating the lack of confidence that the institution and entire intelligence community already lacks in the public eye? Just give us a chance to say, taking you from Ayanda, putting you, that will be direct from Ayanda to the IGI. You're not working since. Why should we do that? Wouldn't it damage the reputation of the intelligence services, the IGI, even further, and this failure that is a big reputational damage at the moment in front of our people?
Thank you, honorable member. I think if you are going to judge my, possibility of performing as an IGI based on the standards or the performance of Minister Ndlondlo, actually it means I can get the job even tomorrow, because Minister Ndlondlo has excelled. She has excelled in pursuing her responsibility as the Minister of Intelligence. I have seen the opposition she had to work under, how she was resisted, but still she managed to forge ahead and put in place so many things that when she came there were non-existent. And I do believe that even the issue right now as we speak, the high-level review panel came with a very important recommendation of saying the intelligence structure, the intelligence service, which is the SSA, needs to be disestablished so that we correct the ills that happened in the previous dispensation. And that actually the minister already established a task team which was able to consult over in a wide variety of platforms and produced a general intelligence amendment bill with proposals that when actually implemented, those proposals are going to see a repositioned, a remodeled, an intelligence organization that is going to be so effective. We're not going to be experiencing these things that we're experiencing in the country of our infrastructure being vandalized, which I call economic sabotage. We're not going to see all these situations of, organized crime that is ravaging our country. So I believe that indeed the minister, Ayanda Ndlondlo, has really, there are so many things that she has actually put in place. And we should remember also that the period of time that she was there, the morale of the members were remarkably actually improved compared to what was before. So this is what I believe. Okay, I think I should proceed. Before I left there, because this is under the minister, as you have correctly pointed out, I have put in a proposal to change how vetting is supposed to be approached. We know very well that right now we have a serious problem of backlog of vetting across the board. You talk crime intelligence, you talk defense intelligence, you talk SSA. We have a serious problem of backlog. So I have come up with a proposal that shows that actually it is possible to eliminate this backlog. So the other thing as well that I can mention is that the minister came there and realized that in terms of deploying members to foreign stations, this is a contested terrain. This is what we read about every time in the newspapers. But the minister came up with an operational deployment strategy that is so fundamental in deploying our capabilities abroad in a way that is so logical, that is so effective. If implemented, we will see a turnaround into how effective the SSA is. That strategy, actually, the minister was at a point where the strategy is supposed to be again developed for the domestic branch, so that deploying our capabilities in provinces up to the level of the municipal level is supposed to happen. So there are all these strategies that are in place. I can talk of issues of the minister putting in place, because there's an outcry of the issues of sexual harassment within the SSA. The minister has put in place a task team, or a committee, if you like, of people that are going to be looking into these matters of sexual harassment, because right now this is an area where no one is talking about it. It's been in the papers at some point, but no one is talking about those things. But the minister came in and put in place this structure there. The minister has made the issue of the appeal and adjudication board to be in place, so that every member in the organization that have appeals to make can bring those forward. And now you started to see the morale of the membership of the organization changing. I can count so many things that the minister has already put in place. She has put in place a committee, a task team again, which is under the Deputy Minister of Intelligence, Honorable Zizi Kodwa, to work on the implementation of the high-level review panel. And I do know, because I think I did have a sight limitedly of the report that they had produced. They have, really moved some level into ensuring that the recommendations of the high-level review panel are implemented. So there are so many things. The issue also, again, of launching the intelligence veteran structure, because this is according to the Intelligence Services Act and the intelligence regulations that say the intelligence structures, especially the SSA, need to have a relationship with the intelligence structures. I, for one, have made a benchmark study with the other intelligence organizations in the world to see how they utilize their intelligence veterans. And indeed, I found that all the intelligence organizations that I have benchmarked with do exactly use their intelligence veterans in their services, which is not happening here. But the minister was on the verge of launching that body so that it can work. Thank you very much, Honorable Ndlovu.
Thank you, Honorable Makwanisha. What was the other pronunciation? Makwanisha.
No, thank you very much, Chair. It's unfortunate that the Chair can't be called to order. No, thank you very much. Good day, Ms. Lamine.
Good day, Honorable Makwani.
Thank you. Just from your CV, you have trained in quite a number of countries, including Cuba, GDR. Just briefly, how long did you undergo training in each of those countries? Briefly.
Thank you. I think that is why even in my CV, I was careful to write I was trained by services of these countries. Because in terms of the training by Stasi of the GDR, German Democratic Republic, I was trained in GDR. The training was 6 months. And when I was trained by the ZCIO, the training was in Harare. The training was, I think it was for 3 months, because it was the time of, because I voted, when I cast my first vote, I was in Harare actually. And when it comes to the CIA, this one was for a month. And when it comes to the Cuban one, it should be roughly 3 months as well. And the ones that I did internally, the operational course lasted for a year. And the Executive National Security Program lasted for 6 months. And that one actually also included a study visit to France, where we were, seeing how the French were approaching their own national security approach. Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. You said earlier on that the Inspector General of Intelligence approached the Minister about issues relating to the budget of the IGI. What was your advice to the Minister? Because you said that you are advising the Minister on the core business.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I was in the meeting, but it was not my space there because we are two as advisors. One is responsible for governance, and the other, which is me, is responsible for core business. So the budgetary stuff and all that will go to my other colleague. Thank you.
Okay. So what is the effect of Chapter 3 of the Constitution on the work of the IGI?
I want to believe that that part of the Constitution will talk about the fact that the IGI, as an oversight body, needs to be impartial, and they need to disperse their functions independently in order to satisfy the imperatives of national security. They have to do their work in a manner that is transparent. Also, even the candidate to be an Inspector General should satisfy all those requirements.
Is Chapter 3 of the Constitution not about cooperative governance?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Then if I may have made a mistake. Yeah, Constitution is so long. So if it is about cooperative governance, in my view, it falls within the whole system of national security. I see it in the way that the Inspector General himself is a role player, a critical one, in this whole system of national security. While the intelligence structures or intelligence services are the instruments for national security. And then we know that also we have our different levels of government. So now the issue of cooperative governance there will go even to the heart of the relationships in terms of the issues of, relating with the other oversight bodies as well, and relating as well with the Chapter 9 institutions, for instance, the Inspector General or the Inspector of the Police, the IPID, and so on and so on. This is how I think I will understand it.
No, thank you very much. According to you, are there any differences between the doctrine of state security and that of national security?
Thank you. I think if I can start with the doctrine of state security, I think that let me approach it this way. Already the white paper on intelligence in the advent of democracy spelled out that our country is moving away from the state-centric national security, but now is adopting a people-centric national security. And it defines the issue that in the past, threats to national security were expected to come from neighboring countries in terms of their armies invading our country, which is why national security was about state security. But now, because we are in democracy, where our constitution in section 198 states that one of the fundamental principles of national security is our people having a resolve to live a life of harmony and peace, but very important, to experience a life that is free from fear and a life that is free from want. In this, therefore, it means national security that is people-centric is the one that does its business because it has the mind of the people and the heart of the people, and whatever that they do is to ensure that indeed what the Constitution says about the people, them experiencing a life free from fear and a life free from want, indeed happens. So this is a difference. With state security, you are not going to attain what the Constitution says. There's going to be a gap that forever is widening if you are going to have state security, whereas actually your country, your Constitution calls upon you to be people-centric.
Did you at any point have a discussion with the minister with regard to that discussion? Because the name of the department still refers to as state security.
As I have pointed out that it was the minister's priority that this recommendation of the high-level review panel that says disestablish has to be done. So in that task team that I spoke about, that I was a coordinator of, that was charged by the minister of looking into the proposals of the new architecture of the intelligence organization. So the minister then, it means, have given a leeway to say, advise me, so that I advise the president and the policymaker of how intelligence is supposed to be. So one of the things, therefore, in this proposal that is put in place was that indeed there has to be a shift, a paradigm shift, to go back to a national security doctrine that is people-centric. There are definite proposals that we have put in place with my team to say this is how actually we can take away this focus of intelligence and give it this paradigm shift so that intelligence really can begin to do its job in a people-centric way of doing business in terms of national security.
Lastly, have you ever been in a situation where you had to take a decision or challenge authority at a great risk to your own sense of comfort?
Well, here I think I can make an example. I can make an example of, even though it is long ago, but I think it is important even still today. When I was still a section head of vetting in the South African Secret Service, At that point, our divisional head and the whole meeting actually came with a decision that all the members that come from non-statutory forces, which is those who come from the PAS, the Pan-Africanist Security Service of the PAC, and those that come from DIS of the ANC, are supposed to be vetted. And those that come from the statutory forces, which is the NIS and other Homeland Intelligence Services, will not be vetted. They will only be vetted after 5 years. I had an issue with that. I challenged the meeting, I challenged my superiors to say that can never be correct, because the issue is that right now we are in the South African Secret Service. We're not in the DIS, we're not in the NIS, and we're not in the TIS or in the VINIS or wherever. This is the South African Secret Service, and everybody will have to start having their security clearance begin now. So this was a very serious challenge that I know that I was actually even risking. But I stood my ground, and because of my resilience into pursuing this matter, indeed, at the end, I got a buy-in, because I had to actually even report to the Director General that I do not agree with what this decision is about. And indeed, that was overruled, and the South African Secret Service started to, so then I had a responsibility of doing a threat assessment that will inform the DG to say we can start vetting in that structure, that directorate, and so on. And then we began that for a very long time until I left SARS in 2008. There was never a backlog. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Kumete. Ms. Lamini, my apologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can we get to Honorable Stebe?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Lamini, I just want to begin where my honored colleague next to me was asking about your time frame. You left the country in 1986, and you came back in 1993. That's what I could gather. Am I right there? According to your CV and the information in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you said, but in 1988, you were in Moscow.
Yes, sir.
And then the next place that you were was in 91 in Stockholm.
Yes, sir.
How long were you in Moscow? And how long were you in Stockholm?
In Moscow, I was there for a course that lasted for 10 months. So it will be, it either could be 87, then overlapped to 88. But I was in Moscow for 10 months for a political science qualification, which actually, by the way, now I have the certificate in hand, because the minister has actually, spoken to her counterparts in Russia, and they were able to, all the people, all the comrades who underwent training, be it intelligence or whatever, we have 2 boxes of a certificate. I have mine also for that 10 months. Thank you.
Okay, just to follow up there, that was for 10 months. Then from 88 till 91, there's nothing in your CV. What you were not in South Africa. Where did you work in that period? From when you finished in Moscow until you started in Stockholm in 1991. Where were you? Were you working somewhere? Was it in Moscow, or was it somewhere else in the world?
Okay, I can explain it this way, to say my home was in Angola at that time. When I say I am going somewhere, I go wherever, but I come back to Angola. If not, if then I will be sent somewhere, I will be going to maybe Zambia, but my home was in Angola. So the back and forth would be between me and other countries, but with Angola. Because remember, Honorable Member, at that time, I had left the country to join the ranks of Umkhonto weSizwe, and Umkhonto weSizwe was outside the country. So I am a commissar.
Okay.
My good doctor, you are out of order.
Thank you. Okay, we can stop there. Then you said you said you had the vision right in the start. You said you recognize some entities. You said we have got an ailing organization, and your words was a sinking ship. Now, what strategy will you implement to stop that sinking ship? And what did you mean by saying it is a sinking ship?
You know, directly, without saying much, it's a sinking ship because there is no intelligence organization that can survive without an effective counterintelligence. Over years, the SSA has been functioning without an effective counterintelligence. You know, when you look at the National Strategic Intelligence Act, it is clearly stated there what the mandate of counterintelligence is, amongst which is the protection and the safeguarding of intelligence. And intelligence here is referred to the intelligence operations of the organization, but also the integrity of the intelligence product. If you look at the Act, you will see that intelligence as a mandate only has a mandate to collect, you know, the whole cycle of intelligence and take the product to the to the NICOG. That is what intelligence is supposed to do. Whereas counterintelligence is supposed to do all what intelligence does, but added to that, it's supposed to report to the president, to the Home Affairs Department, to the SABS, to other departments of the state. And yet you do not have this capacity the way it is supposed to function at the SSA. Now the question is, then what strategies do I have? The strategy that I have is that you cannot have a counterintelligence that continues to be an appendage of intelligence, which means counterintelligence is supposed to be a standalone entity that reports to the president of the country, not to the DG. It is not supposed to be like that, because if counterintelligence reports to the DG is able to do whatever that he wants, with counterintelligence not effectively monitoring and picking up what the DG is doing. So subverting intelligence organization becomes very easy. Now the question may be, but the president is also a human being. The president can also do what the DG can do. So my response is that is why in our country we have a parliamentary oversight, which is very powerful. The JSCI is very powerful.